Thank you very much for listening to this week's talk on the Sedra of Pinchas. And we are dedicating this learning to the safe and speedy release of all of the hostages in Gaza and the safety and security of all of the soldiers in the IDF as they continue their heroic missions to keep the land of Israel, the people of Israel, and Jewish people all over the world safe. And as we look at the Sedra of Pinchas, which invariably falls around the time of the start of the 3 weeks with the fast of the 17th of Tammuz, Shiva Asar Tammuz, we can see that there are many connections and many tools that we can use as we try to make this year the year that we emerge from the recurrence of the tragedies, of the challenges, and the prophecies around this time of year that culminate with the destruction of the two Batei Mikdash, two temples, at the 9th of Av, at the end of this 3 week period. And if we're looking at the Sedra of Pinchas, there are a number of topics that we find in this Sedra that are going to give us these clues. And the first is the giving of the reward to Pinchas because he undertook this exceptional act of courage when he sees that two people are behaving in a way that is completely against the laws of the Torah, and everybody else is frozen as they're watching the prince of the tribe of Shimon and Midianite princess behaving in an immoral way in front of all of the people, in front of the leaders, in front of the Ohel Moed. And at the end of last week's Sedra of Balak, he kills both of these people as they are indulging in this act of brazen immorality. And at this week's Sedra, even though this is an act of war, this, Pinchas is given a covenant of peace. And we can read in the opening verses. This is chapter 25, verse 13. V'hoisa lo ulazaro, and there shall be to him and to his seed, Acharov, after him, bris kohunas olam, a covenant of everlasting priesthood, tachas asher kine lelohav, just because he was zealous for his God, vayechaper al bnei Yisrael, and he atoned for the children of Israel. So he is awarded, the previous pasuk says, Hineni nosei lo esprisi shalom, behold, I am giving to him the covenant of peace and a covenant of everlasting priesthood. Now, this act was extraordinary, and there are times when, even though this is not something that is advocated, that is something that is not fraught with danger, because when people take, so to speak, the law into their own hands, and Pinchas was criticized that he did not consult with Moshe Rabbeinu before he undertook this course of action, even though the fact of the law regarding kanaos, zealous conduct, actually precludes asking an opinion. But because it is potentially so dangerous, it is not something that is widely advocated. However, we can understand, we can take a certain whiff of what motivated Pinchas, what gave him the courage to act, that as individuals, there may be a situation where everybody around us is not doing something, and we need to take up the battle cry, as it were, but not necessarily in the particular circumstances which were unique to the events that Pinchas was involved with. But we take this message from Pinchas that we are going to have that courage to take action if the need arises. And that is going to be in extraordinary matters. And although the Sedra is called Pinchas, and we could say that's the headline, but we have in other aspects of the Sedra that are teaching us in different ways how we can we can forge a closer connection with Hashem. And after the reward of Pinchas that is described at the beginning of the Sedra, we have a census that is taken that after the plague brought on by the idolatry and the immorality that the Bnei Israel indulged in, that 24,000 people died. So after this, a census is taken that to restore that precious connection, to perhaps give encouragement to the people who survive, and in this way we are going to have we are going to build closer bridges with Hashem, having learnt the lessons of what we've done wrong. And then we have the laws of the division of the land of Israel into the various, apportioning the land to the tribes, to the tribal holdings. And this was done with the Goral, which is the lot that the people were allocated their exact proportion of the land of Israel through this divine way of giving them their part, their territory in the land of Israel. And when we read about this, in addition, we also read about the daughters of Zelophehad, and they were the daughters, 5 daughters. Zelophehad had no sons, and they bring their query to Moshe Rabbeinu that because of the laws of inheritance, since there is no son, that it is possible that their father will lose out of his tribal holding in the land of Israel. And this query is addressed to Moshe Rabbeinu in such a dignified way, and the daughters of Zelophehad are given an eternal compliment in the Torah in the way that they presented their case, and in their love for the land of Israel. And I think that this is another of the lessons, the messages that we get from this Sedra of Pinchas. This intense love of the land of Israel. This is the land of our connection with Hashem. This is the land that the Bnei Israel are now on the verge of entering. But this is not something that was just one time at one period in our history. This is something that even throughout all the thousands, the millennia of years of our dispersal, we have kept this love, kept this connection, kept this prayer with the land of Israel. And I think that as we read the Sedra, as we enter into the 3-week period where unfortunately we were exiled from the land of Israel, we can up the levels of our love for the land of Israel, learning from the events and the conduct of people in this week's Sedra towards the land of Israel. And this is another way that we can rectify the problems of the 3 weeks and the challenges that we face. And the third final content of this week's Sedra talks about the various korbanot, and it starts with the korbanot that were given on a daily basis. This is the korban tomid, and this is one of the things that actually was stopped on Shiva Asar B'Tammuz. This is one of the reasons that we fast on Shiva Asar B'Tammuz. There are 5 reasons that we do so. The first is that Moshe Rabbeinu broke the luchos, broke the tablets, after he received the Torah, when he comes down and sees the people worshipping the Egel HaZahav, the golden calf. And the second reason that's given is that these special daily, the word tomid means eternal and constant, and these were offered up in the morning and in the evening. And if we look in this week's Sedra, chapter 28, verses 3 and 4, V'omarta lahem, you will say to them, Zeh Zeh ha'isha asher takrivu laHashem. This is the firing. Ha'isha asher takrivu laHashem. This is the fire offering that you will offer to Hashem. Kavosim b'nei shana tamimim. Two perfect, unblemished lambs in their first shnayim layom olosomid, in their first year, each day as a daily burnt offering. Esakeves echad, the one lamb, ta'aseh vavoker, you shall do in the morning. V'es hakeves hasheni, and the second lamb, ta'aseh bein ha'arbaim. We have here the translation, you shall offer in the afternoon. Bein ha'arbaim is actually more twilight, sort of towards the end of the afternoon, approaching evening. And this, from the extraordinary that we saw in the conduct of Pinchas, we move here, as it were, to the ordinary, to something that is to be performed on a daily basis. And during our lives, during our history, there have been times when there have been extraordinary circumstances and we have needed to behave in a certain way that is not necessarily consistent throughout the whole time. But equally, the service of Hashem is also comprised of the daily, of the sometimes unexceptional, when we do something on a very regular basis and we maintain our levels of commitment and devotion, and it doesn't become routine, even though it is every day. It is something that we infuse. And it's very interesting the way the pasuk is written when it says Es hakeves echod taseh baboker. With regards to the morning offering, it talks about echod, one, whereas when it talks about the evening, it says es hakeves hasheni, hasheni. There is a definite article. So this one that is standing alone. And at the beginning of the day, we need to look on this day as not just another day, but as a unique opportunity that perhaps not in the dramatic way that we have with the extraordinary events of Pinchas, but still we have the day stretching before us and we want to have our plans, our goals. We don't want it to be just another day. And as we offer up this Tamid that is something that we're doing on a constant basis, on a daily basis, we want to make sure that it is the one, that this day is the one, and I am putting my energies and I am doing it I am infusing this action with that special enthusiasm. And at the end of the day, similarly, we may have achieved certain things. We may look back and think I could have done certain things better. But equally, I come towards the end of the day, going into evening, and I bring the offering of my efforts that I have actually carried out, how far they were or how close they were to my dreams and my goals at the beginning of the day. That is something that I can check on a daily basis. But in this, so to speak, ordinary way, we have got an opportunity to reaffirm our connection to Hashem, our commitment to Hashem, and really from the extraordinary to the ordinary, we are given this opportunity to work on our observance in all different ways and at different opportunities. And I think that this is something that we can bear in mind as we commence this 3-week commemoration of so many difficult events that happened to our people in the past. And as we are experiencing our challenges in this time period now, and really infusing our prayers, doing extra acts of chesed, working on unity that is the secret to our achieving our mission as a nation. This is all something that comes together. And I think that we can look at the Sedra of Pinchas and we can get so much inspiration and practical guidance in how Be'ezrat Hashem, with God's help, we will achieve the ambitions, and we will see our prayers answered, and we will see that this 3-week period is going to change from a period of mourning with God's help to a period where we celebrate the rectification of the problems and sins that led to the destruction of the temples, and we should have the merit to see the rebuilding of the temple and the coming of Mashiach at this time. Thank you very much for listening. Wishing everyone Shabbat Shalom.